Let's talk about the story here we got from The Intercept. Twitter aided the Pentagon in its covert online propaganda campaign. Internal documents show Twitter whitelisted CENTCOM accounts that were then used to run its online influence campaign abroad. Check this out. They say, Twitter executives have claimed for years the company makes concerted efforts to detect and thwart government-backed covert propaganda campaigns on its platform. Behind the scenes, however, the social networking giant provided direct approval and internal protection to the U.S. military's network of social media accounts and online personas, whitelisting a batch of accounts at the request of the government. The Pentagon has used this network, which includes U.S. government-generated news portals and memes, in an effort to shape opinion in Yemen, Syria, Iraq, Kuwait, and beyond. Let me just stress, it may be indirect, but this means the psychological operations were targeting American citizens as well. You cannot go on Twitter with a fake Middle Eastern account, claim the U.S. is doing something they're not, and not expect that to impact U.S. citizens. This, in my opinion, is seditious, that the U.S. government is running influence operations impacting its own people. That should not be allowed. But when we learn that they're actually providing, let's just call it reimbursement to Twitter for Twitter engaging in acquiescence to their requests, it's a subsidiary. Twitter is allowing the U.S. intelligence agencies to run psychological operations. It's being exposed. It was exposed a while ago. It's getting exposed even more today. This is confidence building to me. And there's something else that I think is rather confidence building that I learned thanks to Media Matters, because they wrote this big smear about this show, and they were like a 2022 breakdown of all of Timcast IRL's bigots and the guests, and they're ragging on Adrienne Curry and Michael Malice, and it's just like they're making up lies. But one thing they pointed out was that the Ye interview was the #1 live show on YouTube at that moment. And so I was like, oh, I didn't know you could track that. So I'm tracking it right now, and we're currently #2 on YouTube.
Oh, what's up?
#1 is a Weather Channel report on the coming blizzard, which I can respect. Everybody needs to know about that. But then I realized that we are consistently the top spot on YouTube. And then I thought to myself, if this show can call out psychological operations, can call out Epstein and what was going on with that and Maxwell, the sweater is unraveling. The thread has been pulled. If this really is consistently a top live show on one of the biggest social media platforms in the world, I think we're breaking through and the narrative is crumbling, and that's evidence.
Yeah. This is the counterculture. We're burning the simulation.
And we need to create a stable system, because things are going to change. Things are changing right now, and the U.S. is no longer going to be the hegemon on earth. We need to help create an environment where people can live in peace and calm.
Well, the truth resonates with people, and the truth has a lot more power than some state propagandist bureaucratic Becky sitting at her office eating her potato chips and spreading some bullcrap lies in order to bomb Yemenis children and hospitals and schools. And with the PsyOp of this story is big.
We're #1 now. We surpassed the weather.
They heard you. They're like, we're going to change that. Good looks.
But this Pentagon PsyOp program is again, I've been screaming about PsyOps for so many years. They've been denying it's been happening. They're saying, no, there's no way. We can't be doing propaganda on the American people. Barack Obama signed a law, and I remember talking about this law specifically with him signing a directive saying that propaganda could be used against the American public. I remember covering this. The corporate media responded, no, that's not going to happen. No way. It's happening. It happened. And with the U.S. Pentagon running PsyOps on unsuspecting American people, promoting the war in Yemen is absolutely insidious. And your tax dollars are literally doing PR for Al-Qaeda. Because when you look at the war in Yemen, it's the U.S.-Saudi coalition literally bombing the Houthi rebels, creating a humanitarian crisis. Millions of people have been displaced. Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people have died because of disease, because of lack of clean drinking water. And the United States is working with Al-Qaeda, this is even according to the Associated Press, in order to go after the Houthis that are aligned with Iran. The Sunni Wahhabists with Saudi Arabia are literally doing staged PR photo shoots in Yemen. The United States is helping their bombing campaign. Jared Kushner is helping Saudi Arabia get better weapons deal in order to help spread and cause and inflict one of the worst humanitarian crises on the world right now, and that's the war in Yemen. And truly, this is a big issue that deserves a lot more, because they're running propaganda to promote war in Yemen, of all places. That is absurd.
What do they want in Yemen?
To appease Saudi Arabia.
Are they trying to take control of the Gulf or something?
The very, very surface level rudimentary thing is there's ideological conflict between certain Yemenis rebel groups and Saudi Arabia wants to crush them, and the U.S. is helping them do it. and it's causing a major humanitarian crisis.
But it's like right
That's
there
overly
by the
simplistic.
Gulf of Aden. I want to look at the map. Where is Yemen? It's like
I don't know if
Northeast Africa.
you know better, Luke, because my understanding is quite rudimentary.
Yeah, they want to control the Gulf of Aden is what they want. They want that trade route in the Suez Canal. That's why they have Israel where it's at. The liberal economic order wants control of that
It's a
area.
larger proxy war between Iran and Saudi Arabia. So the United States is on the side of Saudi Arabia. They're on the side of the Sunni Wahhabist. The Shiite, people in Iran are the ones that are usually the victims of this kind of larger attack, and they go back and forth. There's a lot of history here, and it's all about who's going to have the sphere of influence. Saudi Arabia and Iran are two major oil-producing countries, and they both have a lot of power. They both have a lot of resources. The United States is trying to choose the winner, but Saudi Arabia is literally going to China and saying, we're going to expand our ties here. We're going to have better security relations. We're going to have better military relations. We're going to have better trading relations with each other, which essentially is screwing over the U.S. petrodollar, which is also involved here.
If they, if Iran were to control Yemen, then they would have control of that Gulf. How do you?
I just want to say, like, it's remarkable to me. I'm sitting here listening. I see Kyle. It's just so incredibly esoteric, the things we're talking about. It's very, very in the weeds. I just want to give a shout out to everybody watching. You guys you give me such inspiration that we can talk about like Yemenis conflict and humanitarian crisis and psychological operations and have the top streaming show on YouTube. This is a white pill moment.
Incredible.
I just got to say that.
And I'm sure you guys
are listening.
I'm sure you guys talked about it already, but I keep thinking about everyone at America Fest applauding like the anarchist. And, like, it was really incredible.
Talk about
like there's
revelations,
so many
man.
different people with different thoughts at that place, and seeing you guys on that stage is really inspiring.
Kyle, like how do
Luke
you?
saying abolish the FBI and everyone's
And everyone's going crazy. I'm like, I've been saying this for 15 years, but now, okay, I'll take
Yeah,
it.
hey, they
Someone
got it.
wrote in the YouTube video for that live stream that we did, saying that, quote, I can finally hear the crowd that Luke is always hearing in his head. And that's absolutely true.
Great comment.
incredible.
I go psycho about this stuff from time to time. Kyle, how have you, like, psychologically, how do you stay calm? And, like, how have you been dealing with not only what you've been going through personally, because you've been on also a personal whirlwind in a lot of ways that I'm not. And in addition to the geopolitical state, like, what do you do to stay calm and focused?
You know, I like spend time with my family and dog and my girlfriend, and that keeps me pretty level-headed and sane. But I don't dwell on like what's happening currently on the outside in the world. Like, I focus on it, I look at it, but I don't let it keep me up at night
Well,
because
they kind of forced you into it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
that too. They did force me into it, but
But how did you end up deciding to go out, you know, that fateful night and provide first aid and do what you did? I mean, certainly you had to have seen something happening in the world around you.
well, I was down there cleaning graffiti, and then I met with the business owner, and then we talked to them. I offered my assistance to help protect the business, and then he said, we'll let you know later. And then a friend at Nick Smith called, and he said, hey, can you come help us protect this business? Me and Dominic Black said, sure. Went down there, protected the business, put out fires, got pepper sprayed, and then I got attacked.
So it wasn't even something like where you had been watching the news.
I knew what was happening, and I knew it was really disturbing what was happening. Like, they were burning cities down,
Yeah.
and nobody was really reporting on it. They were saying they were peaceful protests.
But this is, I think, a really, really good example. You're probably the biggest example of someone being forced into it. But for a lot of regular people minding their own business, saying, I don't want to be involved, one day they look outside and they see, you know, a guy ramming his car down a parade, or they see people setting fire to buildings. And then whether you want to or not, you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at the that just reminded me. Look how the media treated the, where was it? The
Waukesha.
The Waukesha parade attack.
Exactly.
They said it was the
car did it.
SUV's fault. And I was just like, ridiculous. Why can't the media just report on what is happening, what they're actually doing, instead of just making it look better than it actually is?
You know, I'd like to believe that it's because good people are secretly being ruled by a collective of lizard people who have taken human form and are running the media, but that's just clearly not true. It's just a lot of people believe these conspiracies because it's easier to believe than the fact that some people are evil. People don't want to believe that their fellow man would try to destroy everything just for a little bit of power.
But if they're conservative, they absolutely railroad them. They put them through these trials, and then they do these cruel and evil things to them. They censor them, and they take away their voice, and they put them on blacklists.
Yep.
And then if you're a leftist, you're put up on a pedestal, and then he was just having a bad day, or he's
look at Twitter recently. I love this. Antifa accounts are getting banned. Journalists who are doxing are getting banned, and they keep lying about it. And they actually, I love this so much. They gave themselves their own encyclopedia entry called Thursday Night Massacre because they got suspended one time temporarily, and they called it the Thursday. These journalists have narcissistic personality disorder to an extreme degree.
These journalists out here, they're like, look at you. Because of some of these people, they've leaked your address. I don't know if they've leaked it, but they obviously
definitely.
they know where you live.
2 guys showed up. They got shot at. Long story short.
Oh, interesting.
That's right.
These independent journalists, not independent, there's a lot of great, but these journalists out here who are going out spreading false narratives and then complaining that they're getting banned off of Twitter when they're like, look at Elon Musk. Look at that guy who jumped on his car because he got suspended.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.